What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, today's video, once again, is going to be one of those where I feel like the whole comment section is going to be split in half. There's going to be some people who think this is a fantastic thing, and once again, there will be people who think this is absolutely awful. Again, to each their own. Everybody's opinion is neither, right or wrong. We are all welcome to have our own opinions. But I gotta be honest, as always, I don't know, I'm on a little bit of a streak here, but I see a little bit more negative about this information than I do positive. Now, as you can see right here, it is now officially confirmed. Season 2 will be launching on February 15th. Our studio teams have been making several changes based on what we have heard from our player community. Season 2 includes all new content with the return of Resurgence and a brand new small map for Warzone 2.0. Ranked play is also back and coming to Modern Warfare 2, along with new multiplayer maps, new modes, weapons, and much more. Stay tuned for additional intel. So ladies and gentlemen, if you can't tell from the post here, Season 2 has been delayed for Modern Warfare 2. It was already rough enough that Season 1 had absolutely no content whatsoever for 6v6. Now Season 2 is getting completely pushed back, and we gotta stick with Shoot House and Shipment for even longer. Now, of course, for camo grinders, that's not a problem whatsoever, but for someone who enjoys the game and is just looking for some variety when it comes to maps and just content, this is definitely a struggle. And I do want to go ahead and make this very clear, because for anybody who's new to the channel, I don't want to come off or rub off as someone who doesn't understand that, delays are sometimes a good thing, because they are. When a development team pushes back a project or pushes back something, it's to put more effort into it, whether they got feedback from their community, whether a lot of stuff was messed up, whether it was, bugged to death. I don't know what the issue is, but if a development team or a publisher pushes back a project, a season, whatever it is, typically it's to make it better. So I'm not one to usually bash or, roast something for being postponed, but when it comes to Call of Duty, it's a completely different story. I mean, Robert Bowling here actually makes a pretty good point as well. He said, listen, Call of Duty community, you can't talk shit on the game for months and then get pissy when they take the appropriate time to address your concerns. Celebrate this delay because it means they're trying to listen to you and act. And I agree, they are trying to listen to us. This delay is obviously being done so that you can fix up the game to make it more playable, so more individuals come back and experience it. If you guys don't remember my last Call of Duty video, we are just talking about how Activision, or whoever the source was from Charlie Intel, they're claiming that they're getting a massive loss of players. Way more players are leaving than what they expected. And, around this time, it is to be expected that people will leave. They're going back to their jobs. They're going back to their lives. The holiday season is over, so on and so forth. The New Year's in. People have to go back to what they got to do. So not many people are going to be gaming. But, with those predictions in mind, the numbers were way worse. So they're definitely in basically support mode right now with Modern Warfare 2, trying to get it to a point where players will want to come back in. But the problem here, once again, like I said, I do understand that this is a good thing and I shouldn't be complaining here, but it's Call of Duty. I know how this goes. We've been on this cycle year after year after year after year. They never handled it differently back then. They're definitely not going to handle it differently now. Their main concern is obviously going to be Warzone and potentially DMZ. But at the end of the day, when it comes to 6v6, what I enjoy most out of Call of Duty, what a lot of people enjoy most out of Call of Duty, more than likely our concerns aren't going to go ahead and be addressed. I mean, just look at this post that Infinity Ward put up here on Twitter. Now, again, keep in mind, the previous message I showed you was more of an official message, Activision Infinity Ward coming out with, a broad message across the board, talking about multiplayer, Warzone, all the stuff that, we want to talk about. But of course, when the actual development team Infinity Ward comes out on the side to discuss things with their community, guess what is the only thing, guess the only thing that they're going to go ahead and talk about. As you can see right here, they said, we look forward to sharing more details on the updates coming to Season 2 and a deep dive studio blog next week. This includes exciting changes to Warzone 2.0, including the gulag, looting, and loadouts. More soon. Again, I miss the days when 6v6 was the main hype factor. When everything that the developers, when everything that the publishers, when everything that, they wanted to push for this game I miss when it was 6v6. Those were the best times of COD because now that is not their main priority. And even though you can go back and, like I said, you could look at the bigger post that they put out, and yeah, it does say, oh, we're going to be releasing, new multiplayer maps and new weapons. But realistically, how many are we really going to get? And like I've mentioned multiple times in my previous commentaries, if you've been watching me for a while now, you know what I'm going to say. But right now, I barely even count weapons as new content because the majority of the time, the weapons are balanced out for Warzone and then put into 6v6 separately. They're always absolutely busted when it comes to multiplayer, and then they obviously have to be worked on and stuff of that sort. But of course, once again, their main priority is to make sure that they're functional for Warzone and then put into the rest of the experience later. So realistically, the only type of content that is truly focused upon when it comes to 6v6 is the maps. And, I don't want to be the downer of the whole overall situation here. I want to be excited. Trust me. Please trust me. I do want to be excited, especially since I decently enjoyed the experience that Modern Warfare 2 has to offer. But my goodness, I know for a fact we're not going to get the map selection that we want out of this game. Either it's going to be too many remasters, there's going to be just barely enough maps in Season 2 to even make up for anything. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is that within Season 1, they brought back Shoot House and Shipment. We're still down 2 new maps, I consider that no content within Season 1. I literally consider Season 1 0 content for 6v6. Maybe I will consider the weapons, content. But once again, like I said, I always throw that into the Warzone and DMZ category as well. When it comes to specifically 6v6, there's basically nothing, in my opinion. There's remasters, there's things that we had from Modern Warfare 2019, but nothing new, nothing unique, nothing that actually sparks my interest and makes me want to come back to the game and play, unless obviously it's the camo grind. And realistically, how many maps are really going to come within Season 2 for 6v6? All of their time and focus is going into Warzone. So, for my personal viewpoint, I can only see maybe, 3 maps being added in, and that's if we're lucky. More than likely, it's just going to be the classic, 2 maps being thrown at us, which we have to hope and pray it's not going to be another map that we just saw on Modern Warfare 2019 or another remaster. Hopefully, it's going to be something fresh. But even if it is the best case scenario, 3 maps, I wouldn't even consider that good enough because, like I said, Season 1 was still completely lacking. And let's really go out there. Let's say this is just, extra time. They really did put in work. They added more content in. We're going to have 4 maps for Season 2. Let's say it's really, really good. We're getting really lucky out here, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting 4 maps within Season 2. Even then, that would not be enough. You have to keep in mind, they even removed a map from the original map selection of Modern Warfare 2. We're missing content out of the base game. They didn't add any new content into Season 1 to make up for anything. They still haven't added in a map to replace the map they removed from the original, lot. We are playing a major game of catch-up here, ladies and gentlemen. And I just don't want to be fooled again. It would be nice to be able to say that I'm very excited that they're taking more time for Season 2. But I don't believe that time is being taken, and being used towards the 6v6 side of things. And even though I'm happy they are using that time for something, at the end of the day, 6v6 is what I care about. Warzone, I dabble in here and there. DMZ, I dabble in here and there. But the main reason I come back to COD is 6v6. And if they're not going to add anything new into it, what's the reason for me or anybody else who's a 6v6 fan to come on back to the experience? Realistically, there is none. Back in the day, the game was packed up enough that we would come back to the experience all the time. And then when DLC content will release, it will get even more exciting. People would come back for the DLC, and so on and so forth. But now with this new live service method, it's a whole different ball game. We're getting games that release with absolutely no content, and it always takes at least over a half a year just to get the game to a place where it would have been 10 years ago. It's ridiculous. So it's so hard to hang on as a 6v6 fan during these times. And at the end of the day, I'm stressed. I want to be happy that this delay is coming in place, but I know this delay is going to be prioritized for Warzone and not 6v6. And ultimately, that's the complete opposite of what, me as a hardcore fan wants to see done for this franchise. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, on chat me, there's 2 we do so, Twitter and Discord, both in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.